Hey guys, welcome back to another great game of EDH. Today we are showcasing some cool high-powered EDH decks. But before I forget, I do want to remind everyone that we are holding a giveaway for a pack of custom dragon shields with our logo and a Neon Kamigawa commander deck. And the giveaway ends tomorrow, so make sure you're entered. Also, if you're interested in playing with us, hop on our Discord. We have an ever-growing community and we'll love to talk MTG or whatever strikes your fancy. And another benefit is we often let people know when we play and would love to meet some new people. All right, block there, kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board. First up is Jimmy, piloting a $50 Estrid enchantment deck. If you're interested in the deck, we did a video linked in the corner for you to check out. But the TLDR is that this is Bant Enchantress. This list uses Estrid's ability to generate massive amounts of mana with her untap ability, along with the other value engines you get from running your enchantresses. And paired with blue, you get the added control that counterspells can provide. Next up is Crash, with a cool commander pairing that I haven't seen before. Toggo Kodama is a Gruul landfall deck that leverages Toggo's ability to generate rocks as both a form of removal, but also as a combo piece with Kodama and a bounce land. This deck has a lot of synergy and was cool to see run. In the third spot, we have Fernando and Samut. And I think the name of this deck says it all. Turn 5 20 mana is an apt name, as this is a value ramp deck that uses Samut's ability to haste up a board to turn a big turn into a game-ending turn. It also has a small package of equipment, since double strike and swords is a very good thing. And bringing up the rear, we have MTG Loots with Kodama Sakashima. This is a sweet value ETB Simic list, whose goal is to use Kodama to cheat mana and gain insane value. It also runs a few different combos utilizing Sakashima's ability to copy Kodama for almost infinite Kodama triggers. But without further ado, let's get on to the gameplay. Hey guys, I also thought I'd point out, this game features a lot of colorful commentary from the players. So if you are worried about profanity, you might want to skip out of this one, but it's a funny game, and I thought I'd give you a heads up, just in case. Just as a heads up, Fernando did have to mulligan to 6. Jimmy starts off the game with a command tower, and then enchants the land with a wild growth. Crash has a forest, and while the table thought Jimmy had a good start, when a soul ring into an arcane signet into an amulet of vigor, the table really reacts.
Oh my
God.
What?
We're fucked. This is Jimmy's fault.
What is happening?
This is Jimmy's fault, actually.
Amulet of
Letting
Vigor?
What the
Are you done, or?
Fernando can't follow it up, and just as the tap turn Timber Serpentine would. Loots has a forest, and taps it for a burgeoning. Jimmy drops a forest as land, and Loots using his burgeoning puts an island into play. Jimmy then ends his turn tapping his command tower to cast a Kiora's Follower. Crash has a Terramorphic Expanse as land, which lets Loots drop a forest into play. Crash then cracks his Terramorphic, but responding to this, Loots basic land cycles and Ash Barrens for an island. Crash gets a tapped mountain, which enters untapped due to the amulet.
I can't wait to play my second land and pass.
green decks? OP.
A Lotus Cobra then comes out, and Crash ends his turn casting Toggo. Fernando is not happy to see the Goblin, as he has a command tower and casts a Dranith Magistrate to at least stop the others from casting their commanders. Also, Loots realizes he has a burgeoning trigger and puts the tutored island into play. Loots untaps and, hoping to refill his hand, casts a Guardian Project. Jimmy plays a snow-covered forest, and Loots is now officially out of lands. Jimmy then casts a Satyr Enchanter, and while he was going to remove the Dranith, he is convinced to wait at least until Crash's end step before removing the Dranith. Crash is also looking for some card advantage, and pays 5 mana into a Great Henge. This does have Jimmy flash in a Spectral Sailor, but the Henge resolves, with Crash then playing a Guildless Commons as land. This triggers the Cobra for a red, Toggo for a rock, and is untapped due to the amulet. He taps the land before bouncing itself, and along with the Great Henge, has 5 mana to cast in a Shia, Soul of the Wild. It enters with a counter and a draw from the henge, but Crash is done after that. Fernando does not like how his board is looking. He doesn't have a land and has to hand the turn over. Lutz plays a forest and taps 2 for a Mind Stone. He follows that up with a Solemn.
EDH staple, circa 2012.
It's a bad card.
Sure.
Any responses?
He stacks his 2 triggers to draw first and then search out a basic. Jimmy has a Prairie Stream and then casts an On Thin Ice. He enchants his Snow Forest and O-rings the Ashaya. He gets a draw off his Cedh, but is done after he smacks Lutz for 1. Crash has the same trick with his guildless commons. But Jimmy does have a response, and takes the opportunity to Nature's Claim the Great Henge, which is then tapped for 2 green. Crash then uses 3 of his floating mana for a Gearport Aether Grid, and then with a 2 green from his henge, casts a Farseek. He does make a mistake and grabs the forest, which he shouldn't be able to do, but this does trigger the Cobra and Toggo. Crash then ends up tapping 6 artifacts to the Aether Grid to ping the Dranith. Fernando draws, but still hasn't found his 3rd land, and just has to pass. Lutz has another island as land, and makes a Kodama truce with Crash, as he taps 6 for his Kodama. The Kodama resolves, and Lutz gets to draw off his Guardian project. And at his end step, Jimmy draws a card off his Sailor. Jimmy finally has the chance to cast Estrid, which he does, plus 2ing her to untap his enchanted permanents. He then ends his turn pinging Lutz with his Sailor. Crash untaps and also casts his Kodama. He plays his Guildless Commons. So Lutz gets his Burgeoning trigger, which he puts an island into play. And this is when Crash informs the table this is actually an infinite loop, as when the Commons enters, Toggo creates a rock. This creates another Kodama trigger. The Commons can then bounce itself, and with the rock Kodama trigger still on the stack, it will resolve, putting the land back into play. This would then create a loop, letting him have infinite mana, infinite rocks, and damage from the Aether Grid. That is, if everything resolves. As Jimmy responds to the bounce trigger from the land by cycling a Nimble Obstructionist and stifling the bounce trigger. Now wanting Retribution though, Crash then taps 4 rocks to ping the Cedh. He had thought Jimmy's Curious Follower only had 1 toughness and was going to kill it as well, but has to squash his plans and just pass the turn. Fernando draws, but still can't find his lands. He does have a play, as now there are 7 creatures in play, as he tries to board wipe with a 2-mana Blasphemous Act. Although his hope is short-lived, as Lutz counters that with an Arcane Denial to save his commander. Players then go to Lutz's turn, and he draws one, with Fernando finally finding his lands. Lutz on his main phase brainstorms, with Crash taking this opportunity to try and ping Jimmy's Spectral Sailor. The Sailor is down, and Lutz finishes brainstorming. Another 6 mana is then used on a Consecrated Sphinx. This triggers both Guardian projects and Kodama, but Jimmy has a response as he takes the opportunity to flash in an Aven Mind Sensor. This did scare Lutz, as he thought Jimmy had something a little more pertinent, but the Aven resolves, with Lutz then resolving his own triggers. He first draws off the Guardian project, and then the Kodama trigger resolves, putting an Azusa into play, to get another draw off his Guardian project. He has a Tropical Island as land, and then taps 3 for a Green Sun Zenith, where X equals 2.
I have no idea what I'm getting.
Well, it's gotta be in the top 4, so I hope he...
Oh, son of a bitch!
You leave that fucking thing there, you casted that thing.
Fuck that mind sensor. I didn't even think about it. 1, 2, 3,
I don't care if I lose. I'm just
4.
having a
Fail to
blast.
find. Fuck!
Fuck yeah.
Aw,
It just
Jimmy.
felt good, so I could tell that to
I'm so mad right now.
Oh my god, my $50 deck is the dream.
Ah,
It's just doing stupid shit.
I was gonna do something cool.
Okay,
Well,
is that
actually,
it,
that
Rick?
was pretty much all my gas, to be honest. So
Is that it, Rick?
I had nothing left.
Jimmy and Lutz both draw.
Ooh,
Drawing 2.
this is a good
Aw,
card.
fuck.
Because I'm worried about that board state over there.
What? There's nothing over here.
That is kind of
These are not the drones you are looking for.
Fernando, what is the biggest threat? Is the Kodama, right? Over there?
There's so
I'd say it's the consecrated things.
there's so many right now, Jimmy. I don't know. Just
The threats are layered.
What's the biggest creature threat?
Definitely my command tower.
All right, here's a. I think Rick is slightly ahead.
I don't know.
He's
Crash
got
can
draw
just,
power.
yeah, but Draw can just get another
One bounce land and win.
He's got.
Think he's closer.
Oh, he needs
Okay.
the other one, right? It's only 2.
All right, Rick, don't go so crazy mode.
I mean,
Just
I
remember
have
I mean, Rick, the consecrated thing is also very valuable to kill.
Jimmy then casts an Imprison the Moon to enchant Crash's Kodama. Jimmy then pluses Estrid to untap his permanents, but is done after that. Crash and Lutz draw, and Crash then taps 7 for an Omnath, Locust of Rage. He puts a Bonder's Enclave into play from Kodama, and triggers his Omnath for an Elemental, and Toggo for another Rock. He then ends his turn pinging Estrid for 3. Fernando and Lutz draw, and Fernando finally gets his 3rd land, as he plays a Firelight Thicket. Fernando decides to spin the Wheel of Fate and cast a Farhaven Elf. He looks at the top 4 and actually does find a basic Plains. He then discards an Ulamog due to hand size and shuffles in his graveyard. Hey, this is editor hidden. Lutz's turn is going to take a little while, but it was just way too funny to cut everything out. So, enjoy.
Come on, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies! Fuck! Give me a goddamn land!
Can that go in the video?
I drew 7 cards, I didn't get 1 fucking land after you made me shuffle with Green Sun Z.
How do you think I feel right now, Rick?
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Fuck!
I'm playing Chromox, which unfortunately doesn't do fucking shit for me. And I will imprint, and this hurts my soul, just letting you know, my Cultivate, which won't get me shit.
Even mine sensor. I hear
Then
a good card.
Hey, if you get rid of the Imprison the Moon, I can get rid of the Aven Mind Sensor.
I mean, I'm gonna do the best I can to just do something funky.
Leave me alone.
I'm gonna
Leave me
do.
alone, guys. Come on.
I'm just being the peacekeeper.
It's actually really true.
All right. I'm gonna tap
I'm helping Fernando get back in the game.
6. I'm gonna tap 6 here.
Why don't we just slow
I'm
down?
gonna play Caged Sun for 6.
Why don't you just like pass in a couple of turns? You know, do nothing.
What are you gonna name?
Caged Sun. I have a Kodama trigger.
What are you gonna name?
I'm going to name Green.
Honestly, I don't even know what Kodama does.
Kodama's gonna allow me to play a creature from my hand in.
Oh, okay.
Creature or a artifact?
Anything.
Well, anything that's that's 6 or under.
Oh, cool.
All right, here we go. Here come the whiffs. You ready? Farhaven Elf.
Yeah.
Looking at the top fucking 4.
It's probably
It's never
not as
gonna
good as
happen.
mine.
What?
It's not gonna happen.
2,
I'm not
3.
feeling it.
4. Fail to find.
I mean,
Okay,
it's not as good as
I
mine.
I have to shuffle.
Sea Crash, you were gonna kill.
And I have a Guardian Project trigger to draw from Farhaven Elf ETB.
Nice, nice.
So I'm shuffling and then I'll draw. Come on, baby. Give me a fucking land.
I was just trying to restart the game, guys.
Alright, I've shuffled. Now I'm going to put that back like that, and I'm going to draw my card. Tap 1 green. I'm going to play Oath of Nissa. It's going to get a Kodama trigger, and it's going to have its own ETB trigger. I'm going to look at the top 3, reveal a creature, land, or planeswalker, and put it into my hand. I'm going to do this trigger first, and then Kodama. Give me a land. Let's go, baby. 1, 2, 3. Jesus fucking Christ. I did not get a land.
That's a
These
nice,
are my
That's a
cards.
nice landfall. Like,
That's a nice. This is a nice.
I will
title.
pick Eternal Witness,
Okay.
and that'll go into my hand, and I still have a Kodama trigger. The other ones have to go to the bottom of my library. I'm floating a green. This will be my floating green. And with my Kodama trigger, I will play Finthorn Elves, which will give me a Guardian Project trigger. So I'll draw. Jesus Christ, do I have any more lands in the deck?
Nope, you ran exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lands. You have them all.
You got him.
I got a land in the graveyard at least.
10, I'm sorry, 10.
Alright. I will play...
I hope you
I've got 1 green floating. I'm going to use 2, using all 3. Eternal Witness. I've got Kodama trigger and Guardian Project trigger. And Eternal Witness trigger.
What are you trying to do?
I'm
Rich,
just trying to...
You know what, dude? I'm bored of your turn.
I don't
Can you end his turn?
I'm gonna cast a spell because I just want to go. Like, this is so boring. I'm gonna cast a summary dismissal.
What's that do?
It activates all spells and counters all abilities, so it's my turn now.
No, it doesn't. I have all triggers.
Those are
They
abilities.
get exiled. That thing actually gets rid of them.
Bye.
So
Wait,
your
wait,
Eternal Witness, your
Kodama,
Summary.
Guardian Project.
Age
Bye.
of Sun, everything is exiled.
Get out of here. I'm ready.
Exile all... Wait. I don't understand what that means. Exile all other spells?
All
They're
other
permanents.
And counter all abilities.
Yeah, so I just don't get any of these triggers?
Those are abilities. They're
But I
triggered
still have
abilities.
mana.
That's true. He was just hoping that was your last play of the turn. You are correct.
Damn it, Ray.
It's not.
Oh god.
I'm really upset about that, though. Jimmy, you're a dick.
Okay, so it's.
So I don't get any ETB triggers.
Yeah.
No.
Got it. Okay, so I'll tap for 4
I
mana.
messed up because I should have saved for the rocks.
I'll tap for 4 mana. I will play Monvoli Beast Tracker, floating a green. And
What is that?
I made-
Bully what?
it allows me to search my library for a creature card with hexproof, reach, trample, or death touch. I'll look at the
Did you
top
say
4.
Mowgli?
I'm gonna draw. I get a Kodama trigger, and then I'm gonna look at the top 4. So I'm gonna draw first.
Get the
Did you
bear.
just make that card.
Then I'm gonna look at the top 4, and then I'm gonna go get a Kodama trigger. 1,
What's that?
2,
Mowgli
real?
of the Jungle Book.
4. This is upsetting. Fail to find. I have to shuffle. And I have a Kodama trigger.
It doesn't matter. It's not gonna give you anything. Rick. At this
Rick, I'm
rate.
gonna cast the summary dismissal.
What are you
Okay,
talking about?
I'm ready.
Can you?
No, this
Hey,
turn has to end, please.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sorry. And with my trigger, I will play a Trinket Mage,
Oh, God.
getting a Guardian Project trigger,
Failed to find.
and a Kodama trigger, and a Trinket Mage trigger. So I'll draw with that, and then I will look at the top 4 for an artifact that oh, look at that! I got an artifact!
Nice.
Fuck it, Jim.
He's so happy. Oh, look at that.
I got one. I'm shuffling. I'm sorry. I'm shuffling. Okay.
I'm gonna play Mowgli.
And then with my 1 green floating now, I'm gonna play Arbor Elf, getting a trigger
Oh Jesus! Stop
and
it,
a
Rick.
trigger.
Just
I'll
pass
draw
your turn. What the fuck?
and play Soul Ring off my other
I
trigger.
got 4 lands. Let me play the freaking game.
I'm gonna tap Soul Ring for Talisman of Curiosity, getting a
Oh
trigger,
my god.
playing a land,
I don't even know if this is legal.
and now I move to combat.
Yes.
All right, Jimmy,
Yep. I'm ready.
I'm swinging at you for 10.
Okay. I'm gonna respond. I'm gonna cast an Ether Eyes.
What's that do?
Look all attacking creatures with
It returns all attacking creatures to the owner's hand.
Ah, that was good. That was well played, Jimmy. All right, I guess I will get Kodama back and Consecrated Sphinx back.
There you go. Is your turn over?
You just gave me creatures to do stuff. Pass.
As long as they don't ETB, search your library, I'm happy.
Now that you
Do you know how many searches you fucked?
Jimmy has a Simic Guildgate as land and pays 5 for a fairy formation. He upticks Estrid, but is done after that. Crash has a mountain and triggers Omnath and Toggo. He activates his Enclave to draw and then heads to combat. He sends an Elemental and Omnath at Estrid. But Jimmy has a response, as he activates his Fairy formation to draw and gain a Fairy. He was hoping to block with it, but Crash pings it down pretty quickly, and Jimmy ends up letting the Estrid go. On his second main, Crash also casts a Guardian Project. Fernando has a Forest as land and taps 3 for a Sword of Fire and Ice. He goes to equip, and while Crash debates killing the elf, seeing how pathetic Fernando's board actually is lets the equip go through. Fernando then moves to combat and swings the elf at Jimmy, who doesn't block, with Fernando drawing a card and pinging the Azusa. Lute starts off recasting Kodama. The commander resolves, and he gets to draw off his project. A Beast Whisperer is next, and responding to the draw trigger off the project, Crash pings it as Lute doesn't need any more cards. Consecrated Sphinx comes back out, and he draws off his project. The Kodama triggers, then puts a Wayward Swordtooth on the battlefield, and Lute draws another.
Drawing. Oh, yes! Finally!
A land?
Alright. Here we go, baby. Oh, no. How many artifacts do you have to tap right now? Crash. You have just one artifact left?
That's correct, yeah.
Thank God, I think I get there. Alright.
Lute then casts a Scoot Swarm. He gets another draw and puts a Forest into play, off Kodama. And this gives him a Scoot Swarm token. This then triggers Kodama to put a Crystal Shard in. Rampant Growth is next, and he looks at the top 4 and actually finds a Forest. This then gets him another 2 copies of Scoot Swarm. The first Kodama trigger puts a Thieving Sky Swarm into play, which then gets him a draw, and a second Kodama trigger then puts an untapped Breeding Pool into play, getting another 4 Scoot Swarms. He doesn't have anything else to put in, and just taps his Crystal Shard to bounce his original Scoot Swarm. He then sends his board at Jimmy for 11, who blocks the Monvali Beast Tracker with his Fairy formation. Jimmy untaps and has a snow-covered island. He recasts Estrid, plusing her to untap his stuff, and then starts looking at how he can slow Lute's down. Jimmy ends up settling on a Knight of Autumn to destroy Lute's Guardian Project. Crash draws, and for 5 casts a Return of the Wildspeaker to try and draw 5 cards, which resolves but gives another 10 cards to Lute. Crash then attempts to cast an Ancient Green Warden. It resolves, and he gets a draw off his Guardian Project. Crash then shocks into Stomping Grounds, gaining 2 rocks and elementals, and also triggers Lute's Burgeoning, letting him put a Forest into play, gaining him another 7 Scoot Swarms. This triggers Kodama, letting him put in another Forest into play, gaining him another 14 Scoot Swarms. Also, Crash realizes he should have instead played a Terramorphic from his graveyard, and the table lets him switch his lands. He then cracks the Terramorphic and realizes he now needs to kill the Aven to search, which he does. He finds a mountain and gains another 2 rocks and elementals. 4 mana then gets him a Fathom Fleet Swordjack, getting him and Lute another draw. 2 more mana gets him a Paradise Druid, again him and Lute's draw, and combat is then had. He sends Omnath and 2 elementals at Lute, who chumps and crashes nothing more and moves to discard. Fernando and Lute draw, but not seeing a board wipe, Fernando has a Wooded Foothills. He then lets Lute put another island into play, getting another 28 Scoot Swarms. The Kodama triggers then lets him put another land into play, gaining him 56 Scoot Swarms, while Fernando fetches out a mountain. His elf then turns sideways at Crash, who lets it through, and Fernando pings the Consecrated Sphinx for 2. Both he and Lute draw, but Fernando doesn't find the board wipe, and the table agrees with the Scoot Swarms and a Return of the Wildspeaker Lute was holding would be enough to take the table out and win in the game. Game review. Man, that was a game. I definitely like seeing Toggo and Kodama, and if not for the opportune nimble obstructionist, this game wouldn't have lasted nearly as long. I do think the turning point was Jimmy imprisoning Crash's Kodama. He was scared that Crash would find his other bounce land and win on the spot, and that let Lute's stuff stay untouched for too long, and thus Lutz was really able to simply just outvalue the table and win. But question to the viewer, who was the threat, and would you have done anything differently in their spots? Let me know in the comments down below. Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you know that we have a TCG affiliate link, and if you ever see a card you want to try or are inspired to brew something new, use our link when purchasing and we'll receive a small portion of the sale. This is a great way to support the channel, and if you enjoyed the gameplay, please leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps us keep making videos. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.